Hello, this is
Hello,
Paul,
this is Audrey.
and this is week 1 of September 2019 at Wednesday Hot. We did stretch and compression.
With an emphasis on rotation.
Yes. So the first thing that we did is we talked about how in order to move with a partner, we need to be well balanced ourselves. So we worked a lot on staying balanced, whether it's just not moving, moving forward, to the side, back, triple steps in all directions, and then we also added turns. So stepping with a turn in whichever direction, turning without actually stepping, and triple stepping, etc.
So the point of this was to show that you can have both linear movement, which is this kind of movement just in XY. You can also have just rotational movement, which is not moving your center of mass anywhere on the floor. And you can have combinations of both of those. And after we understood that, we moved on to doing this with a partner. So same thing. So if we were stationary, we could shift side to side. We could move forward, backwards. We could also stay stationary on one foot, for example, pivot around our center of axis. We could have 2 feet, for example. That's also just pure rotation. And we could also have combinations of both of these. And we could have combinations of these in opposition or in the same directions.
Oh. And then we talked about how this solo movement creates stretch or compression, and then that movement creates more stretch or compression, and we're using that to link that together to have lots of fun.
And specifically, whenever you are stationary and you want to start a stretch and compression, you start it by moving your own body in the way that you want to start the compression with. So a pass-by, for example, would be solo movement on my part to initiate. That creates compression here, which again creates movement, which then creates the stretch, which then creates the movement across. So here it goes, starting with solo movement, solo, stretch, compression, movement, and redirect here. So solo, stretch, movement, and redirect.
Cool.
And we use that concept to practice some various patterns on the floor, and we won't show that here, but we also put it in the context of a social dance figure.
Yeah. So then our last thing was for a tuck turn. We can either do it in place or we can do it traveling. And the idea here is, again, to focus on our balance for follows in order to make sure that we can actually turn in place versus turn down the line. We have to make sure that we are stepping under ourselves and remaining stacked. Lead, same thing. If you remain balanced, then you won't pull your partner off.
So the specific exercise was we can work on a tuck turn that travels, that's rotational and linear movement. And we could also do a tuck turn that is rotation in place for both people. And as I get car washed with the hair, and the other one is you could do rotation in place with one of them moving away, for example. In this case, that's me, and that movement creates the stretch.
So again, this week we focus a lot on balance. Next week we're going to talk more about frame and how to actually make some of these movements and these feelings feel really good. So great job working today, and we will see you next week.